Braille Skateboarding is the largest skateboarding-related YouTube channel in terms of subscriber count and video upload volume at 5.85 million subscribers, over 5,200 uploads, and is the brainchild of Kyro, a sponsored skateboarder originally from Montana. The Braille channel was created on December 26, 2005, only 10 months after the YouTube platform was launched, making Kyro one of the first currently well-known skaters to begin uploading videos to the site, with Nigel Alexander of NKA Vids notably edging out Cairo by 1 month. Fast forward 18 years to today, and Braille is working its way towards 2 billion views on its main channel, as in billion with a B, uploading long-form videos every single day. 5,200 uploads since December 2005 to today equates to 1 upload every 0.8 days, which is an objectively impressive achievement considering the time frame being equal to the age of a legal US adult. Braille has, at one point, branched out to at least 5 offshoot channels in different languages, including German, Scandinavian, Spanish, Indonesian, French, and even a Russian channel that has almost 500,000 subscribers and posts fairly regularly. Ever since its peak year in 2016, however, Braille Skateboarding's YouTube channel has been declining in views on an average annual basis of nearly 32%, dropping from 465 million views in 2016 down to a relatively abysmal 26.5 million in 2023. To put that drop down to 26 million views into context, Braille's viewership performance in 2023 contributed less than 1.5% of its grand total 1.8 billion views. What caused Braille's ultimate downfall on YouTube? And how did Cairo even manage to create and sustain multiple large channels, the main one being within reach of ranking amongst the top 500 largest US-based channels on YouTube, period? Braille's content is skateboarding-centric, mainly targeted towards children, but that's not how the channel was initially portrayed. As far as becoming the largest skate-related channel on YouTube, that has a lot to do with being an early entrant to the platform, of course, and uploading content almost every day to your channel for almost 2 decades certainly helps to ensure steady viewer traffic. But what else contributed to the rise and ultimately the fall of the Braille Skateboarding YouTube channel? Answering that question requires taking a look at Cairo, his skateboarding background, and a particularly unavoidable affiliation with a controversial set of beliefs and practices. Let's dive in together to find out who is Cairo, the man behind the rise and fall of the Braille Skateboarding YouTube channel. In his TEDx talk from late 2019, a suited-up Cairo shared that, after graduating high school with good enough grades for an in-state Montana college scholarship, he instead followed his passion to skate by moving to Vancouver, BC for a year to study, claiming street spots were better there than in his hometown, before fully dropping out of school and moving to San Francisco to completely commit his time to skateboarding. Committing oneself to skateboarding, in Aaron's case, at the time meant he was stacking street video clips of himself. And while he doesn't specifically mention which companies he rode for in his TEDx talk, the Braille website's purpose page includes Cairo's former sponsors, a list of very core skateboarding brands like Volcom, Reel, Thunder, Bones Wheels, and Circa Shoes. Citing budget cuts in his presentation, Kyro also shares that his sponsors dropped him, leaving him with unreleased footage he'd been compiling in San Francisco through 2005. In response to leaving his sponsors, Kyro uploaded the compiled footage to YouTube in the form of a 4-minute street part, which would play a key role in Aaron's journey as a content creator. The part begins with a blank screen, while audio of Douglas Campbell's voice, the father of Canadian indie pop group Star's lead singer, Torquil Campbell, is played from the opening of the band's song Your Ex-Lover Is Dead, which features the quote,
"When there's nothing left to burn, you have to set yourself on fire."
Cairo's name, depicted in impact font, fades into view after the line concludes, at which point a remixed version of the epic Clint Mansell orchestral composition, titled Lux Eterna, from the famous score in the 2000 film Requiem for a Dream, starts to play. And Cairo's opening line from San Francisco's 3rd and Army spot starts with a nollie back shove back nose slide at a decent speed, followed by a highly pivoted yet smoothly executed back 3 big spin, then a tray flip, then a nollie back nose grind 180. The well-executed, low-impact, high-tech theme of Cairo's self-titled part is best known for the awkward yet highly difficult and rare Daewon song-like manual revert combinations sprinkled throughout the video. Aaron's first video performed relatively well on YouTube in late 2005 and early 2006, achieving what he claimed to be 350,000 views not long after uploading, which, for an edit of an unknown skater on YouTube in 2005, was enough for Kyro to, temporarily at least, shake off the sadness of being dropped from his sponsors and continue to pursue success with skateboarding on YouTube. As far as what contributed to Braille's rise on YouTube, the previously mentioned self-titled video part was clearly a reputational booster for Aaron Kyro, validating his skills, but it also acted as a benchmark for the soon-to-be prolific content creator to chase views on the platform with more uploads. However, without the resources his sponsors provided, like product and filmers, how was Kyro going to move forward in 2005? Investing the time and energy to film another part, and attempting to match or surpass the skill level he was skating in the initial YouTube part would likely take years, and doing it with no sponsors would make it close to impossible. Back in the early days of the channel, Braille videos were shorter and didn't appear to have much structure, but one clear detail that stands out is the success in viewership with how-to videos, including a 13-year-old, 90-second video focused on a beginner's fundamental milestone in skateboarding, the act of pushing. And in doing so, Kyro achieved 1 million views in the process. Scrolling through the old uploads on the channel, it's obvious that an audience for skateboarding tutorials was interested in watching trick tip videos, exemplified by one particular upload with more than 1 million views on how to ollie, and even 8 million views on how to kickflip. 5 years had passed between the time his explosive, first self-titled video part dropped and the how to push upload was released, revealing a mysterious half-decade worth of time before Kyro was able to realize significant YouTube success, begging the question, what was going on with Aaron Kyro during that half-decade from 2005 to the early 2010s? Kyro's determination to be successful in skateboarding before YouTube manifested into him being a prolific footage stacker, and he's cited two particular parts from 2005 and 2004 that preceded his first YouTube part. One part was featured in Trevor Prescott's second installment of Seasons from 2004, where Kyro has footage in the same video as 2008 SOTY Silas Baxter Neal, and the second part was filmed by the late Richard DeVera called Mijos from 2005, notable for being the 2021 SOTY Mark Suchu's debut video part at 12 years old.
Right when I turned 12 on my 12th birthday.
Okay.
And then we put out a video part in, like, I think just 1 year of me skating, and that was this video called Mijos.
Aaron was allegedly never paid by any of his sponsors, even though he was producing street footage with their product depicted, and because this all took place before YouTube paid content creators, Kyro was working various odd jobs to financially support himself as a flow skater. Even after Kyro was dropped from his sponsors, namely Real, the initial Aaron Kyro YouTube part did not open many doors for him in the skate industry. And as mentioned, history shows he remained inactive on YouTube during those 5 years between his first upload and the successful how-to edits. Not much is known, published, or shared about Kyro during that gap in time from around 2005 to 2010, other than he continued to work odd jobs while pursuing skateboarding. But an unavoidable detail that presents itself in analyzing Aaron's story is his involvement in a relatively controversial set of beliefs known as Scientology. Scientology, considered a cult by some, or more neutrally a business/religion, was established by American author L. Ron Hubbard in the 1950s. And among many other things, it is known for providing, for lack of a better term, a plethora of self-help courses to its members in exchange for monetary payments. Kyro has appeared in multiple Meet a Scientologist videos, with one of them getting uploaded to YouTube back in 2009, before he was known as the boss of Braille. But what significance does Aaron Kyro and Scientology have with anything regarding the development of Braille? Well, any success story that results in the formation of a business, particularly a successful business, regardless of the industry, requires money, not uncommonly in significant quantities, and Braille is no exception. Jumping ahead 10 years from the time the 2009 Meet a Scientologist video featuring Aaron was published, an American journalist with a reputation for covering Scientology-related news, Tony Ortega, released an article in 2019 that featured a photo depicting Aaron Kyro celebrating the achievement of reaching Scientology's Silver Meritorious with Honors level patron status, which requires a cumulative donation sum of $750,000. Less than 6 months after the Ortega article dropped in 2019, Aaron uploaded a YouTube video on the Braille channel, which at the time had since accumulated several millions of subscribers, asking his audience to donate their money towards the renovation of a skate park in his Montana hometown. The problematic timing and subject of Kyro's video, where he's requesting his predominantly young audience to donate money to a remote skate park, not long after proudly standing for a photo with a trophy that honored him for donating $750,000 to an organization familiar with being embroiled in controversy, didn't go unnoticed. Particularly on skateboarding's longest-standing message board, where additional linked articles from Ortega's website quoted Aaron Kyro in 2017, at the time posing for a Scientology publication that highlighted members who completed L rundowns. Information available regarding L rundowns in Scientology suggests that this process takes up to 50 hours to complete and can cost upwards of $60,000 for the auditing process, with an end goal of quote-unquote enabling a being to swiftly evolve into an unshakable, certain powerhouse radiating pure theta. Aaron Kyro, upon completion of the L10, is quoted as saying, "My space is so big and so clean, and my flows are wide open. I got rid of masses that had been in my space for trillions of years. I truly uncovered my basic goodness and rightness as a being." The same article linked Kyro's YouTube success with his Scientology work, stating, "He's still having daily cognitions directly related to L10, and his online traction has seen a noticeable uptick." TheTruthAboutScientology.com tracks Kyro's involvement as a member, steadily progressing with coursework completion from early 2009 to as recent as mid-2023, including reaching gold meritorious status, signifying they've donated a cumulative $1 million to Scientology. Still, besides this singular previously mentioned bad optics from Braille asking its community for skatepark donations, what is the importance of Kyro being a relatively generous Scientologist patron, and how is it linked with Braille? Braille's peak YouTube performance was in 2016, and it just so happens that Aaron completed 36% of his 25 Scientology courses in that year. While it's tempting to conclude, based on this information, that, just like the previous article said, Kyro's Scientology productivity can be tied to Braille's YouTube performance, it's worth keeping in mind that correlation does not necessarily mean causation, but it is quite a damn. Being an outspoken advocate and extremely generous patron to an organization that's seen by many as a religion means that there's a chance that a portion, potentially sizable amount, of the money earned by Braille from YouTube ad revenue and income from all the additional entrepreneurial skateboarding endeavors associated with Aaron Kyro is going to find its way in helping to fund Scientology. Determining whether helping to fund Scientology is objectively good or bad, however, isn't exactly the most straightforward answer. Back in 2009, 4 to 5 years after Kyro got dropped from his sponsors, and before the millions of views and subscribers, Aaron learned that YouTube can be monetized. At this time, Kyro's channel was not Braille, but instead was called Sprocket7, in honor of his hometown snowboard crew back in Montana. Inspiration for calling his channel Braille came from what Kyro claims is a common, optimistic phrase in skating when one says, "I'm feeling this," which is a play on words because of its relation to the universally accepted system of writing used by blind people. There was still a period when Kyro was testing the waters of what he could do with the power of the internet to help him keep the skate dream alive, including helping his friends who filmed his parts sell the physical copies of those videos on his site. This was not a long-term effort, however, which leaves the YouTube channel's upload history as the only tangible source of information to draw any further conclusions. Looking at the upload activity, Aaron Kyro's intentional push to upload content regularly to what we now know as the Braille YouTube channel took place sometime in late 2010 to early 2011. Historians will argue that late 2010 is more accurate because that's when the first clearly viral how-to video was launched, and the upload activity since then has been purposefully regular. But, accounting for what might be either a mass deletion of videos or simple lack of activity, others might insist early 2011 is more accurate, because that's when videos were uploaded more frequently that are still visible today, citing a 49-day lapse in uploads from December 2010 to the end of January 2011. Regardless, Braille's first 100 videos have an average of just under 300,000 views per upload, led significantly by what currently sits as the 8th most viewed video on the channel to date, the 8.4 million views from the How to Kickflip the Easiest Way tutorial edit. This 2-minute video is narrated by Kyro, who gives relatively detailed instructions on what your feet should do to perform a kickflip, and it's Aaron who's kickflipping in the video. 9 months after the viral How to Kickflip video was dropped, Aaron supplemented his YouTube growth trajectory with the Skateboarding Made Simple digital download series. This was a moneymaker for Cairo, an idea he said that was a turning point for him and Braille, which he mentioned in his 2019 book, How to Get a Billion Views on YouTube. Kyro was uploading historical clips and other shorter skate videos almost daily back in 2010, but it wasn't until mid-2014 that he shifted to filming current vlog-style videos and uploading them on a daily basis. While today's YouTube landscape is much different than before, 2 big growth milestones for aspiring full-time YouTubers in the mid-2010s are the 100,000 subs checkpoint, which Braille hit in June 2013, and then of course 1 million, which Kyro achieved in August 2016. The best year for Braille's channel, as far as total views are concerned, was in 2016, when the channel achieved nearly 466 million views from the 360 unique uploads. And 2016 currently accounts for more than an entire quarter of the channel's 1.8 billion lifetime views. At the time of making this edit, Braille has 404 videos with more than 1 million views. And more than 800 videos have at least 500,000 views. In 2013 and 2014, Aaron Kyro published 1,535 videos on the Braille channel, equating to an average upload frequency of 2.1 videos every day. Accounting for the time frame when Kyro uploaded frequently, back in 2010, to the end of 2023, average year-on-year viewership growth is 60%. With growth peaking between the years 2014 to 2015. When the total view count skyrocketed 155% from 86 million views in 2014 to 221 million views in 2015. But if you only account for the last 7 years, dating back to 2017 through 2023, year-on-year viewership has declined, on average, over 31% every single year. 2023 is slated to have the least annual views in the Braille channel's history since 2012, and only 266 videos were uploaded in 2012, compared to the daily total that the channel has achieved since 2013 to now. Additionally, the average length of videos in 2023 are nearly 17 minutes per upload, whereas 2012 videos averaged less than 2 minutes, meaning that Braille is pumping out more, longer content, but is floundering as a channel, comparatively speaking. The last time Braille achieved 1 million views on a YouTube video was in 2022, on 5 separate occasions, first in February of that year with a 21-minute skateboard versus BMX upload, then again in March with Braille versus the Pump Track, then 2 times in July, actually on 2 consecutive days, first with the retractable roller skates upload, and then a video titled I'm Sorry, where Kyro mainly reflects in a monologue about the channel's history. And finally, in late August of 2022, the world's strongest skateboard upload has since hit 1.2 million views. 2023's best performing video was in late March, with the 24-minute Don't Break the Amazon polycarbonate skateboard upload, which has since achieved 986,000 views, not too far off of 1 million. More than 85% of the 404 videos with 1 million or more views are consolidated to the years 2015 to 2019, and 2016 accounts for over 32% of those uploads with 1 million or more views. 13 videos from 2016 had more than 5 million views, led by 2 uploads with at least 18 million views, first in July with the now historic glass skateboard upload, where Kyro miraculously dodges what could have been, at worst, a fatal accident when the glass deck shatters on a drop-in, and then in December, another glassboard upload was published, this time where a kickflip is attempted, and a similarly dangerous scenario takes place with the deck shattering. The kickflipping a glass skateboard with glass wheels upload remains the most viewed video on Braille's channel, with over 28.5 million views, and is likely the single best performing skateboarding-centric YouTube video on the platform. Understandably, Braille has uploaded 26 videos with glass in the title, and 6 of them achieved at least 1 million views. 61% of the 404 videos with 1 million or more views have the word skate and or skateboard in the title. The best performing Braille video that doesn't have either the word skate, skateboard, and or a trick name in it is the Worst Complete at the Park upload from 2016, which has 8.4 million views. The average length of the 5,200 Braille videos is around 10 minutes 15 seconds, with the longest video being a nearly hour-long tour video of the Braille team embarking on a 7-city US demo tour. Since 2016, Braille videos have averaged 15 minutes in length, with 2021 having the highest historical average video length at over 18 minutes per upload across the 361 unique edits published that year. What we can conclude is that Braille's YouTube channel is not performing even close to as well as it once did. An additional detail that I noticed towards the end of editing this analysis is that one of the key Braille members, Lance, left the channel around 2018, and his role seemed to be heavily influential in working with Aaron Kyro on developing successful ideas, not to mention being one of the first employees that helped Cairo with the growing workload, and also being a real-life beginner skater that progressed skill-wise in front of the camera using Aaron's advice. A video saying goodbye to Lance clearly shows that Cairo is losing a valuable asset to what contributed significantly to the Braille YouTube rise, and since he's left, views on the channel have never returned to their previous levels, potentially suggesting an additional piece of evidence that his personality behind and on camera were a draw for past viewers. Aaron Kyro uploaded videos at a high frequency in order to provide a collection of content for viewers to stick around and enjoy. And the formula clearly worked like a charm in 2016 to the point where he developed a system of filming 7 videos worth of content in one day so that every single day a new upload could find its way to the Braille channel. The single peak moment in Braille's history could probably be boiled down to when Aaron took a legitimate slam while dodging the glass from the channel's second best performing video. That upload checks several boxes for skateboarders. Obviously, skateboarding is the focus, danger is present, which is amplified by the fact that the already dangerous activity of skateboarding is taking place on a highly fragile deck that can and does ultimately shatter into very sharp shards of glass. The build-up to the danger creates tension that makes for a unique, novel viewing experience, and the authenticity of Cairo being presented as the star of the dangerous scenario ties Braille as a brand and Aaron as an ambassador together in an entertaining YouTube video that even non-skaters can enjoy. While the Braille YouTube channel is clearly suffering from losing a staggering amount of the views it once received, it's not for lack of trying to adapt their approach. One thing to keep in mind is that Braille's YouTube operation has not only grown to become a machine that churns out content daily, but that content is constantly being targeted and molded at being viral. It makes sense for Braille to have this viral strategy, considering Aaron's mission is to get as many people introduced to skateboarding as possible. But if the daily viral videos aren't yielding high view counts, what is the missing ingredient? September, October, and November of 2023 are amongst the top 26 worst single months in the channel's 161-month history. And the rankings are even worse if you only consider months where Braille uploads every day. In marketing, there's this thing called the unattainable triangle, which illustrates the real-world concept that any product or service delivered with high quality and efficiency will have a high cost. And as you change your demand for quality, efficiency, and cost, the product's status will move accordingly on the triangle. Meaning, if you do want something at a low cost, you have to choose either speed or quality, not both. For example, Braille is pumping out videos efficiently every single day, but in order to do that, the subject matter, or quality, is arguably low. If you watch a recent video, there's not much energy coming from the people in front of the camera, which makes it hard to stay engaged for more than 30 seconds or even at all, reinforcing the fact that these fast food type videos don't have much thought behind them other than simply an improvised idea that has a rapidly upcoming deadline. In other words, recent Braille videos, for the most part, are cheap and quick, with quality being absent per the unattainable triangle. Everyone's different, and Braille managed to get nearly 6 million subscribers. And even then, most of the people in the videos are low energy, non-talkative personalities, which is the opposite type of person you want in front of the camera if your audience are impressionable children. Aaron Kyro isn't in every video either, but even when he is, the recent ones aren't really performing well. 5 months ago, Kyro uploaded a 30-minute video called Is Skateboarding Dying?, suggesting he's well aware that his channel is dying and proposes the solution for stabilizing the inevitable peaks and valleys that skateboarding has endured since its inception, which is to get as many new people consistently introduced and interested in skateboarding as possible. The challenges Aaron mentions with achieving that goal include the difficulty of learning skateboarding, the gatekeeping nature of the community, and of course, safety. When I asked what is most discouraging about skateboarding a few months ago, injuries and difficulty were the main reasons, and gatekeeping or toxic culture was actually the least common answer. Aaron argues that skateboarding is statistically safer than playing football, which might be true in most cases, but anyone new to skateboarding has to deal with a relatively much scarier introduction to maintaining your balance while riding a board, which is scarier than throwing the pigskin in the backyard to get introduced to football. It's true that skateboarding is in the Olympics and will likely continue to grow in popularity as a result, but skateboarding is inherently an individual activity, unlike much more popular, historically rich team sports like American football, basketball, and baseball. People are attracted to team sports because of their tangibly competitive nature and regional rivalries, both of which skateboarding doesn't really have in its roots. If Braille, skateboarding's most historically successful YouTube channel, is struggling to thrive like it once did, and Kyro's racking his analytical brain to revive what he achieved in the mid-2010s, that could be a sign that skateboarding relies on impactful moments to attract attention, like the shattered glass. After analyzing Aaron Kyro, the energy and effort he's put towards just YouTube alone, not to mention the other non-YouTube business endeavors, the formula for success that Braille enjoyed for years is no longer working. And if daily uploads with low quality aren't getting views, that could mean either doubling down on publishing fast, cheap uploads as many times per day as possible, or shifting the focus on spending the time to make higher quality, better thought out content that will hopefully be more worth the money to produce than the current era of paying unenthusiastic, despondent personalities to throw trucks on the millionth random object and try to kickflip it on camera.
But my rule is like never go full YouTube.
Okay.